making a cake. Now typically I don't bake. I leave that to my mother and my father because they're the ones that are good at it. So it's just a trade that I never really picked up. But I have been craving cake, and you know, Domino's Bakery has been closed because of COVID. So I decided to just chef up a cake today. So we're going to walk through the steps of a 2-layer carrot cake with a pineapple ginger jelly and a mascarpone cream cheese frosting topped with some chopped walnuts. Now I really enjoyed this cake. It's super tasty. It's really flavorful and moist. You know, I'm actually blown away that I was able to pull this off because, like I said, guys, like, I don't bake, and Jay has kind of been, you know, tempting me with the little cake that him keep on and drop on the timeline every now and again. So I decided to chef up a cake for myself. I'm going to share this recipe in the comments below because I'm sure that there might be a few steps that aren't in the video. So I'll leave that in the comments below. But in any case, this cake is super tasty. It's a good summer cake. You know, you have those bright notes from the ginger and the pineapple, which pairs so nicely with the carrots. So we're going to walk through how, you know, I made this, and I hope you guys will have fun making it as much as I did. And I can't wait to just dig in and take a bite of this. So of course, remember to leave your comments below. Ask any questions about substitutions. I want to hear those. And again, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and please guys, remember to subscribe once you've watched this video. And again, from my kitchen to yours, I hope that you guys do have fun making this. Let's enjoy the ride as I put on my baker's cap and see what we can max up today. Alright guys, so we're gonna get started on our pineapple ginger jelly. That's the first thing we want to get prepped because it's going to take a little while to thicken, because I won't be adding anything to it to get it, you know, thick. So I'm gonna add just a handful of diced pineapples. We need to reserve about half. Alright, adding some chopped ginger. This is 3/4 cups of pineapple juice, and we're gonna add a teaspoon of lime juice. Alright, so we're going to puree this just for a couple seconds. And you don't have to run it too long, okay? The idea is just to get it pureed for a couple seconds. So we're gonna leave this here, and then we're going to go to our saucepan to get our jelly going. Alright guys, so we're going to start with the puree mixture that we made. And don't worry about the chunks, and get your wooden spoon, the one that you guys would have already bought, and just give that a good mix. And we're gonna reduce our heat. That's a little too high. How about that? Alright, next we're going to add in a cup of sugar. Alright guys, so in the meantime we're going to add some Benjamin's ginger extract. I'm adding about half a teaspoon. Alright, so the remaining pineapple chunks that we do have, what we're going to do is we're just going to, once this begins to thicken, we're going to add that in. Alright, and I do want them a little chunky for texture. Alright guys, so remember how I said as soon as, you know, our sugar started, you know, breaking down, you notice how thick it kind of looks? That's how you want it to be. Now we can add in our remaining pineapple chunks. Alright, and we're gonna let that cook. Yeah, so this is the consistency you want for your jelly. This is exactly how we want it, nice and thick, and we can pull it off the stove right now. Alright guys, so these are our chopped walnuts. I chopped them a little finely because some of them are kind of chunky. Now you can use any nut except peanut. Peanut is very flavorful, so you want one of those bland nuts. So like walnuts, pecans, almonds, those kind of nuts with no distinct flavor profile can work well. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna toast them up just to kind of brighten them and give them an extra crunch in our cake. So let's pop this in the oven. Alright guys, so we're going to get our ingredients together. So we're gonna sift out 3 cups of flour. Alright guys, so we just want to get everything nice and sifted, just so that you don't have any clumps and stuff, okay? Next, we're going to add in our cinnamon. So we're doing 1 teaspoon. We're sifting that too. So you see what I'm telling you about those little clumps? That's what you don't want. Next, we're going to add 2 teaspoons of baking soda. We're gonna sift that as well. So next we're sifting in our baking powder. Right? And then we're just gonna use a whisk to get it all together. I forgot to grate in my nutmeg. So I grated in some nutmeg. If you guys know me, you know I love nutmeg very much. So I was very, very heavy-handed with it. And now I'm adding just about ½ teaspoon of salt. Because you are using baking soda, and baking soda does have a high salt content, the recipe won't need a lot of salt. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna fold in our ingredients, and then we can pop our cakes in the oven. Okay guys, so we're going to add 1½ cup of oil. Next, we're going to add our eggs. These are 4 eggs. Then we're going to add 2 cups of sugar. Oh, and we're adding the Benjamin's mixed spice. And I still want some more flavor, so we're just gonna add about 1 teaspoon. And then give that a good mix. Then what I'm gonna do, just to save time, is I'm gonna plug in the mixer and let it do this part of it for me. Alright guys, so now we're adding our dry ingredients to our wet ingredients, and we're doing it in stages. So you're basically cutting and folding in the mixture, just like that. After we finish this, the thing that we'll be doing next is we will be folding in our additions, and by our additions I mean we're folding in our carrot and our nuts. Okay, so I've added in my carrot. We're just folding them in, and now we're going to add in our toasted nuts. Alright guys, so we're just greasing our cake tin. If you have baking spray, that can work, but I'm using good old-fashioned butter and flour. I've never gone wrong with it. so let's do that. Okay guys, so we're using 10-inch cake pans because we're going to be doing 2 layers. Of course, if you don't have 10 inches, you can use 9, 8 and so on, but you just want to ensure that the diameters are the same for each cake, so that when you stack them on each other, you don't have like something more looking like a wedding cake as opposed to just a 2-layer cake. So we're going to pop these in. We're going to check with a skewer, or you can use a knife to see its doneness. Do not open the oven continuously, otherwise your cakes will fall. So you just leave them there. The oven is preheated at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, around 177 Celsius. The baking time may vary depending on also the size of your pans. Alright guys, so our cake is finished. We're just going to set them down to let it cool. You see how nice and brown around the edges are. That's the color that you want your cake to have. Now we're going to work on our frosting shortly, but what we need to do is we kind of have to get the cakes to cool down a bit before we begin frosting. So just let it sit for a while, and we will remove the cakes from their tin, set them down on a cooling rack, and then eventually we'll get our frosting going as soon as the cakes are cooled. And don't pay any attention to the little cut that you see in the middle. That's just how I tested if it was finished. And for you to know, you can, like I said, you can use a knife. You stick it in the dead center, and once your knife comes out clean like so, it means that your cake is done. Hey guys, so our cakes are almost finished cooling, so we want to get started on our frosting. So if you notice this pan that I'm using, do you see how it kind of has that look? It was in the freezer. We want the pan to stay cool so that when we're whipping our cheese and our powdered sugar, it has a nice creaminess to it. Okay, so let's get started. All right, so the first thing is we're gonna add our mascarpone cheese. Oh yeah, amount. All right, and then the next thing we're gonna add is some cream cheese. It's already softened, and I took them out the fridge just so that they could get to room temperature. And add in a good bit. Right. Next, we're going to add some butter. All right. And then we're going to add some more ginger. Here's the thing, we want to highlight that ginger note. The cake is a little sweet, so we want to ensure that we do have some freshness coming through. So we're adding ½ teaspoon of ginger extract. It smells really nice. And we're also going to be adding some vanilla for added taste. So we're adding just about a teaspoon of vanilla. Alright, and then after we do that, we're going to add about 2 cups of sifted powdered sugar. Now the thing is guys, powdered sugar reads a little clumpy when you just get it, so you have to sift it. Alright, and then we're going to use our hand mixer to get this going. So remember how I was saying I don't have a hand mixer? I finally invested in one because nobody has time to stand up and whisk all of this. All right, folks? All right, everybody. So here we have our cake. It's cooled now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the top off so that it's even when we put on the second cake on top. So if you look, you can see that it's not very even. Look, so you want to start taking it from this end, okay? And then remember at the beginning how we did that jelly? Now right now it's very thick. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's super thick. Don't worry, this is how you want it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a spatula and I'm just gonna take some out and just get it on the top of my cake. This spatula not working, so I'm gonna use a different one. And see, we have our jelly on top of our cake. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna add the second cake and then we're gonna frost it. We're frosting. Now keep in mind guys, frosting a cake is something I've never actually done before. And with frosting, I believe that it doesn't have to be perfect, you know? And then I guess this is why people invest in a cake turner. So that they can, you know, do that when they get to this point. But don't worry, we don't have that, so we'll just use our hand. I'm sure before the cake turner was invented, people were using their hands. And probably somebody would just be like, okay, we're tired of this. Right, so we just get our frosting on there as best as we can. And I feel kind of good, to be honest, because I've never done this a single day in my 20 odd years on this earth. I know nobody taught me how to do this. So I paused a bit while I was frosting to put it in the fridge because the day is so hot, the frosting kind of started melting. You can see it here. So what I did, I put the cake in the fridge, just let it cool down a bit, pop the frosting in the freezer. So you see how thick it is than it was earlier. So now we're just going to go around the cake with this. Alright guys, so basically this is what it looks like with the frosting applied. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it back into the fridge while I toast up the walnuts to go on top, just as a garnish. Okay? Alright guys, so we just add in some chopped walnuts. You can use the nut that you used in the cake just to kind of accentuate it. Alright? Alright, and now we're going to slice our cake and eat our cake. And if you guys know me, you'll know that I love cake very much, okay? Like, I can eat cake every day for the rest of my life and not get tired. Hey everybody, so we're at the end and this is our finished product of our cake. It has been Trish approved, so you know, texture is really up there, the taste is good, and of course the frosting, whew, like I actually had some frosting left back and my mother wanted me to throw it out, guys. I'm like, no. So that is in the fridge, so because I had extra frosting left back. But this cake is super tasty and it doesn't take too long. The longest part of it, in my opinion, is that jelly is getting that right consistency for the jelly. And of course I'll put the total cook times in the comments down below. Of course, I hope you guys do try this recipe. Let me know if you do. I will try to bake more, but you know, I'm not making any promises because this isn't my forte. But again, from my kitchen to yours, I hope that everybody's staying safe. I know that, you know, the government lifted some restrictions, but please remember to stay safe. We're still cooking, pandemic or not, we're still cooking. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. I'm challenging every single subscriber to tell one friend to subscribe. And of course, leave any comments, questions below. I want to hear those. And again, from my kitchen to yours, bon appetit.